Hi, I'm Lonnie,
I'm Amberlicious.
and we're Untitled Nerd Network. This is Season 10, Episode 18 of The Walking Dead, called Find Me. And
Yeah.
this is actually backstory. I'm getting the feeling like we're getting a lot of backstory in the next several episodes. And,
Mm-hmm.
like, that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting, is that they're kind of taking this opportunity to build upon
It's like,
what's
what
going.
happened all that time during the, because we time jumped.
Yeah.
So,
And there's no telling. That could be what we're going to be dealing with on the um, Aaron and Gabriel next episode.
mm-hmm.
And actually,
I'm kind
no,
of
no. Holy crap! The preview
mm-hmm.
for episode 20 of this season, which is not this next episode, but the one after, the one that has not yet aired.
Mm-hmm.
They said that our people on the road trip, run into the soldiers from the new mysterious community, and
Mm-hmm.
we're going to learn more about that. So apparently,
Okay,
it may not
cool.
all be backstory.
Yeah. Well, if you look, I mean, this is just my opinion. If you look at that thumbnail, it looks like they're about to fight some whisperers.
That actually does look very similar.
Doesn't it look
The one
like a
on the
mask?
left does have
Yeah.
whisperer vibes. Yeah,
Yeah.
sitting there looking at that.
Who knows, though?
Yeah,
This was a good episode, though. I enjoyed this episode.
this was a Daryl back episode that showed
Mm-hmm.
what he had been up to for the 5 years, 7 years that after Rick disappeared,
Mm-hmm.
leading up to. I mean, it did. It led up to the scene. They showed the little exchange where she was trying to get him to come back and all that. That
Mm-hmm.
actually did happen on an episode right after the time jump.
Yeah.
And so this was all kind of happening between episodes and also parallel to the
Mm-hmm.
first episode of the time jump, which at the very beginning of the episode, like he meets this woman, and over the course of the next few years, they kind of just have these little meetings, either by
The
accident or
dog keeps bringing them together.
yeah. And so it's like, a meeting here. Oh, I hate you. She ties him up, has him captive. She lets him go. They run into each other 2 or 3 more times over like the next 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually they bond and, become an item, spend 10 months together. And then I guess, he's constantly wanting to go out and look for Rick more. And she is not having it because it does. I mean, we know Rick is alive. But to everybody else at this point, it's got to really, like, even after a year,
Yeah.
you've got to be thinking. But, it's been 6, 7 years at this
Right.
point, and you
And
got to
she
be like,
understands, like, the whole grieving process because she tells
yeah.
him about her, her daughter's son or sister's son, you know. And,
I'm glad that Daryl really explained to her what happened, because she was like, "Who did you lose?" And he's like, "My brother." And she's like, "How did it happen?" And he's like, "They never found a body, blah, blah, blah."
mm-hmm.
To begin with, I thought he was talking about Merle, and I thought that he was sugarcoating the whole story. And then I realized that he was talking about Rick.
Yes, because they called each other brother.
I know, but
I know. That's understandable.
for the first 15 seconds of that, I was thinking, "Oh, is he
I thought,
lying
was
to
he
her
gonna
for some reason?"
tell her about Merle for some reason.
Yeah.
No, he's not okay. I just want to make sure, you know.
Yeah. So, but he left, but then after he talked to Carol in like present time, he ran back and was like, "Hey, I made a decision. I want to be with you," but she wasn't there.
Yeah, because Carol's like, I just want you to find your peace. Like, do what you want, but I want you to find your peace.
And
And he had felt peace when he was there, and then he went back and she wasn't there.
so I guess
No.
the big question lingering over this episode is, where did Leah end up?
I mean, it looks like her place was, pretty went through and things were broken, but the picture was gone. So,
Yep.
I mean, that frame was broken to begin with, and then she took the picture out.
It was kind of like in the pilot episode when Rick met Morgan,
Mm-hmm.
and Morgan told him, "Hey, somebody probably broke in here and stole all the stuff," and he was like, "Why would they take the pictures off the wall?"
Yeah, see,
like
there's
he
no
knew.
family pictures.
Yeah.
She took those. You
So
know,
that was how he knew, and I'm sure that's how Daryl knows that
she's
maybe she
alive.
wasn't taken, or maybe it was, she had just enough time to grab that picture or something before she escaped.
Right.
Something
Because
like
the
that.
dog didn't. The dog didn't follow her.
Yeah. So something's up there, and it wouldn't surprise me if she's part of like the next big villain group or something, and
Yeah.
they've got to have like this struggle, of my dedication to the group and my dedication to Daryl kind of thing, or either that or they'll show up right as she gets killed by somebody and be
Hell, he might be on the sign that you were talking about earlier.
what?
You know,
Oh
the
yeah,
missing
yeah.
person.
Hey, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a thing in okay.
Explain it.
We have to clarify. Let me clarify this. um, we so today, which is March 15th. Hey, the odds of March.
Oh God.
I know, right?
What a reference. Anyway.
The odds of March are come but not gone.
I just read about that. That's why it scares me.
Anyway, so today, like earlier today, The Walking Dead all their social media released the trailer for, which is like just a really quick little teaser for season 11, which is going to be a 26 episode season, expanded season. Normally there's 16 episodes. This one is going to be 26, and going to be the final season of The Walking Dead. Well, they're going to this place in the comic books known as the Commonwealth, which is a huge city of like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 50,000 people. I mean, it's a good like medium-sized city, and they're keeping everything going according. But of course, Rick and them in the comic books find something wrong with it. They have like a class system, where the poor people are treated like garbage, and they come in and it's like, no, this ain't the way we.
Like Commonwealth, it just sounds like they would.
So there's some issues there. But when they first show up, it's a team of like 4 or 5 people. I know Eugene is there. I think Michonne is there. There's like 2 or 3 other people in the comic book. Okay, we're talking about straight up comic book right now, and they show up at the front gates. When they go in, there's like a big plaza or whatever. It's like the town square, and there's a big, huge, built bulletin board up in town where like people post public notices and stuff. But there are photos, just a collage of photos all over the bulletin board. And Michonne, they're all people, have you seen, my dad, here's a picture of him, contact me at this business in the Commonwealth, or, hey, have you seen my sister? This is where to find me. And Michonne sees a picture of herself on the bulletin board, and it says, have you seen my mom? Contact, I can't remember her daughter's name, at the bakery. And so it turns out Michonne's daughter is still alive and working in a bakery, and Michonne shows up, and her daughter is there and has grown, 7, 8 years. She's like 22, 23 or whatever. And so she survived. Michonne thought she was dead. And the daughter is holding a cake that she just finished. And when Michonne shows up at the door, she drops the cake. And so the teaser today for season 11 is a picture of a birthday cake kind of slowly spinning, and then every now and then like these really quick flashes of like a bulletin board with pictures all over it are popping up. So that's going to be interesting, because I would think that we're going to see somebody. And you know what? Just because we've only got those 4 people. Who is it? Magna, Ezekiel, Eugene, and Princess.
Yes.
Those 4. Just because it's them doesn't mean it won't be a picture of somebody else.
Right.
Like, you never know. Like, Eugene could look up there and see a picture of Negan. You know, have you seen my husband or some crap like that? Or that won't happen because we know his wife's dead.
Right.
But like maybe he has like a long lost kid that we don't know about or something.
Yeah. Because he was cheating on his wife, right?
Well, yeah,
At one
but
point.
I mean, you never know. He may in the TV show have a like a son that he's just never mentioned, and maybe that's why he has a soft spot for kids.
Maybe.
You know, I mean, you don't know.
There's no telling. There's no telling. So many
Yep.
possibilities.
So there's going to be all kinds of stuff that's going to be answered over those episodes, but this particular episode was super fun, and this is one of those episodes that I didn't see anything but bad words about it from people online, and I'm like, I think what people are just so accustomed now to the whisperers and just constantly being on edge, and you know, it being
this
just
was a pretty chill episode.
Yeah,
to what we've been watching.
People are getting like mentally groomed to expect action and adventure, and you know, whenever you have one of these slow episodes, this did a hell of a lot of character development. And whenever you have one of these, a big chunk of the audience just doesn't know how to take it.
Yeah, they're just like meh. You know?
And so, yeah, this episode ends with Carol and Daryl actually. God, it looks like they are the worst. This is the worst their relationship's been since.
Right.
God, since they've.
But he's right though. Like, I really agree with Daryl on this. As much as I love Carol, like, she just, if she thinks it's right, she's gonna do it. Like,
yeah.
Doesn't matter what might happen.
I can't pick a side on this one.
But,
they both have very valid points.
What was Carol's point that you agree with?
Well, Carol was, she's just.
No, I want you to. What was. Like, she agreed with him. So.
I mean.
Well, here's the thing. She half-ass agreed with him. Like, she was trying to, like, here's the thing. You know, he said that she's always running. After she does that right thing, she's always wanting to run. Not see, like, the damage of the rightness caused, you know. He pointed it out. You've left because you didn't want to see the damage the Whisperers done. You didn't want to co-hunt. And that's true. Because, listen, she was talking to him, and she was like, you know, you can't blame herself for this, and this, and this person. And then she names Connie. And he's like, no, you're to blame for that. Now, what was she trying to put that on him anyway? Because that was all her.
That actually, you're right on that one. Like, I don't even have an argument against that one.
There's not an argument against that.
They are birds of a feather. They really are. They are so much alike. That's how they work together so well. But those flaws really show when they happen.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when they do it big.
Yeah,
you know?
I guess in a way, they're both almost hypocritical because you know it's like they both get mad at each other for doing the same thing that they're doing. You know, that's where I was coming from.
And they tried, bless them, they do try to keep each other in line and in check on that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always work.
It wasn't that they were both.
They are both hard-headed as well.
Well, it wasn't that they were both right.
Yeah.
It's that they were both wrong. And they were mad at each other. They were like, Daryl was mad at Carol for her being wrong, but Carol was being mad at Daryl. And it was just, I don't know. It just, you know, one of those. But it's good writing because they're both hard-headed as hell and stubborn. So, you know, it is what it is.
But they end up staying in that place for the night, and that's where it left.
Yeah, and it looks like we're probably not going to get to see what happens to them until season 11.
Probably not.
I would almost wager that because next episode, it seems like they're bouncing around and letting everybody, you know, telling the story for everybody. So
they're letting everybody get a paycheck.
Yeah, next up we're going to have Aaron and Gabriel.
I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, that one actually looks like it, just judging by the thumbnail, looks like it's going to be a little more action-packed. Mm-hmm. So,
what do you rate this episode?
I'll give this one a 10, just based on the development between Carol and Daryl and knowing what's going on in Daryl's backstory. And this is another thing. I'm really hoping. Like, I was getting vibes that there's always, when you start out at present time and be like, oh my God, how did we get to this point? You know, and then it's like 7 years earlier, and then it starts showing everything. It's kind of like in that Purge episode of Rick and Morty, where, you know, Morty's like, you want me to cut back to 2 weeks earlier? You know, after he kills that guy. And, I mean, those can be done right, but that is such a overplayed thing that I was really worried when this started, because there was a part, like one of the big things about Arrow when it started was Oliver Queen had been, I promise I'm making a point, when Oliver Queen was gone for however many, I think it was like 2 years or something, he supposedly spent all of his time on this island, and okay, that was good. You know, he was on this like deserted island by himself, but somehow he had learned how to fight like a ninja and shoot bows and arrows. He went from being like spoiled rich boy with no combat experience to being like a, you know, top brass of the Navy SEALs. And, you know, he did all that by spending, you know, 2 years on a desert island. Well, over like the 7, 8, 9 seasons of Arrow, they kept doing, like, you know, the first season they did flashbacks. It's like, oh, you know, there was actually this militia on the island, and he fell in good with this dude who called himself the Green Arrow, and he was like a mercenary taking out this militia.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you kind of get the idea, oh, Oliver learned from him. Well, then season 2, come to find out, he was taken off of the island and sent to, like, China on some, like, missions. And then season 3, oh, he went somewhere else. And season 4, oh, yeah. And they just, and all the flashbacks, like, every time in present day, Oliver would end up in a new situation against a new foe. Somehow or the other, they tied that story into a flashback that happened during his 2 years on the island. And the flashbacks lasted all the way up to like practically the end of the series. And by like season 3, people were already getting to the point of like, okay, we're done with these. But nope, the writers were like,
weird.
Guess what? So I was praying to God that this didn't happen on Walking Dead.
Yeah, they did really good with it. Whew, sorry.
What do you give it?
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Okay.
It was good, but like, you know, we are spoiled to like action, and it was a lot of drama, not a lot of action, but it was still good.
Think Leah's alive or dead?
I don't know, because she's probably alive, but I don't know where. I don't know if somebody's got her captured or what. Or if she escaped and she's just hiding out somewhere. Because the picture being gone, that tells you she's alive. She went alive.
My thought, just my Lonnie prediction, is that he's going to find her, she's going to be a bad guy, and she's going to sacrifice herself and die at the last minute to save him from the group that she's been a part of. That's just that's just your typical.
You had me until she said you said she was going to sacrifice herself
to save Daryl. I made a mistake. Jump in front of the arrow, dead. I love you, Daryl. Oh my God. And that's it.
Alright, whatever, Lonnie.
That's where.
So shit I've heard. Yeah, you really had me in the first half, not gonna lie, and then
stereotypical, goofy sacrifice writing is what I'm gonna call that. I'm sure there's a term for it, but
your face.
Matter of fact, I do believe I employed that in one of my books, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think so. But anyway, we'll see y'all next time. I'm Lonnie.
Man, delicious.
We're Untitled Network. We'll be back for the next episode, which is called One More. This is with Maggie's map. Gabriel and Aaron search for food and supplies to bring back to Alexandria. Checking out one more location, they chance upon a stash. Faith is broken and something.
Optimism.
It just kind of trails off. So
Optimism
we'll see what happens. We'll be back for next episode.